Welcome to the Practice Power Up Podcast Monthly Review. I'm Danielle Hopkinson, Marketing Manager at Power Diary. Join Damien Adler and me as we cover the latest updates and happenings at Power Diary. Come on, let's dive in. All right, welcome back to the Practice Power Up Podcast with Damien Adler and myself, Danielle Hopkinson. And we have got quite a monthly recap to go ahead and tell everyone about, don't we, Damien?
We do indeed. We've got a stack of stuff to get through today, which is very exciting. We've got pages of notes here, but we will make each one really brief, so we'll try and not talk for too long. Right,
Absolutely.
Let's jump in. First one, we've got a menu and terminology revamp. So we have renamed a few things, and this is sort of part of our ongoing approach of always trying to make things intuitive, both for, of course, new customers, but also for our existing customers. If they onboard a new practitioner, a new admin team member, the more intuitive we can make it, the better. So things that we have, so we used to have something called calendars, when you would set up a practitioner, but we've actually renamed that to practitioners because that's what they are. They're practitioners. Right. So you'll see that change in the system. Our old setup menu that we called setup is now called settings because that's actually more standard, so it makes it clearer. And you're adjusting things. It's not just the original setup, it's something you might adjust settings all the time. And we've also changed from terminology from roster to availability, again just aligning the naming conventions of those things with more commonly used terminology.
Easy. That's that one. I like it.
Give that a tick. Next one. Telehealth service update. Do you want to walk us through that very briefly?
Yeah. Absolutely. So as everyone knows, we've had telehealth forever within Power Diary for free. And then we recently launched Telehealth Plus. So what we did is we've gone ahead and renamed our standard telehealth, the telehealth that you've used free forever, and we're calling it Telehealth Lite now. So it's easily distinguishable between Telehealth Plus and Telehealth Lite, and you know which one you're using, and you're using either the paid service, which is Telehealth Plus, or you're using the service that's included with your Power Diary account, which is Telehealth Lite. Nice and easy terminology change just to make sure that you guys are aligned and you know exactly what you are using when you're using the service. Perfect. I like it.
Thank you.
Easy. That was a really easy one.
That was an easy one. Next on our list, we have changes to the data export page. So we've got data export page enhancements has been released. So relocation of some of the export filters. We've got more information there in the text to kind of help people with that. Select all feature for data sets. So we've transitioned from toggles to checkboxes. We're finding sometimes toggles get a little bit confusing. People don't necessarily know whether they're on or off and whatnot. So
I get confused by that. I'm like, did I toggle it? If it's a check, I'm like, okay, I know that's, I need that one. If it's a toggle, I'm like, is that which way's on, which way's off? It just makes it more user friendly.
Agree, totally. I get confused as well.
Yeah.
So that's been changed. And we've also just sort of updated the way that looks to make it kind of clearer and cleaner and nicer. So for some people, with their data export, they have to export data. Sometimes they've got contractual arrangements with certain providers and things where they need to export copies of their data and all the rest of it. So a lot of our customers will never use this ever, but some have to use it on a regular basis to keep copies of things that they need to for their own purposes. Sure. So it's easier, it's done. Makes
nice. The first three there were just cleaning up the system to make it more efficient for everybody. So whether it's changing a name or updating the UI or making things clearer, that's all a testament to how, both the customer success team is relaying that information back to our product team, and then how the product team is working with our, dev team to make sure that we are really streamlining and listening to our customers to make it a better experience. So I think it's great. Although they're little things, they mean a lot to people at the end.
It's a very good point, actually, because we get feedback via the customer team or on our Facebook page or on other sort of channels where even just the nature of a question might indicate that it's not clear enough in the interface, and therefore we know, hey, rather than sort of reactively needing to explain this, we should fix it at the source, which might be the way in which something is set up in the system itself. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always what we've done, but this is sort of, it's like a few examples of where that's just flowed through, and we can go,
how we're hearing the feedback, and we're really taking it into consideration and then going ahead and implementing it. So it seems like a lot of little stuff, but you have to go back and make the changes everywhere. So it really, it adds up to a lot. So just thought I'd mention that.
Very good. Okay, next one off the block here, we have the way in which the communication merge fields work, in particular when the merge field now sort of allows, okay, I'll phrase this a different way.
Okay.
When you are using a merge field, so this is if you are generating a communication template.
Okay.
Right? And let's say you wanted to put a link and you wanted to have something where perhaps you were putting a link to pay an invoice. Right?
Okay.
Or maybe, something like that. Okay. So what
telehealth. Like a telehealth link.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
So now what you can do is you can write the words that you want to use for that. So it might be join your telehealth appointment here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can select that text and then and say make this a link, right? And then a little box pops up that says, hey, what's the link? What's the URL this is going to? And the text will be pre-filled because you've selected it, right? Now, in that URL, the little box URL, you can actually put the merge field directly in. So you can put the merge field, telehealth link, or if it's invoice payment link, whatever it might be, you can put that into the URL. When the communication template is used, the system will get that URL for that, say, telehealth link, or the link to the invoice, and it will put it into the behind. It'll link it basically. So what the patient or the client gets is a nicely formatted email with the actual text that you want. Join your telehealth here. But they don't see, and then they click on it. It's a nice link. They can just click on it and go to the telehealth. They don't see like an ugly URL. They don't see an
a
ugly
super long
there,
URL that goes on for days. You know what I'll do? If anybody is watching this podcast on YouTube, I will go ahead and overlay a little video or the little video over what we're talking about just a minute ago. So you just saw it, and that will be some movie magic. But yes, because I think it's like one of those things where it's like silly to describe, but when you see it, you're like, So yeah, I think that's great. And I think it will simplify. Instead of a big, nasty, long URL, you've got a nice, simple text word, takes you where you got to go, done.
Yeah. So that's your nice way of saying that I didn't really explain it very well.
Oh, absolutely not. Just something.
I'm fine. Hey, I'm fine with that. I think it is a great idea. Let's put in the visual aid for that.
It needs a visual aid. So if you're joining us on YouTube, you got the visual aid. Yes. If not, head over to YouTube. Check us out there too.
You'll see it too if you go into a communication template and you select some text and say, I'm going to make this a link, which is just a little editor. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
It's super easy.
It is indeed, but we will put a visual to help. Thank you, Danielle. Good save. Okay. Next one, we have note and form template management. Do you want to walk us through this one, how this operates and what the difference is here?
Again, this is just really some terminology changes. So it was previously, we've updated the functionality, allowing users to deactivate or activate note and form templates instead of what we previously had, which was delete, restore. So this is just, some terminology changes, again, listening to the feedback and, improving the template lifestyle management. Because if you got, let's say it's Christmas and you've got an email template or a form template created up that says something on it, and you don't want to use it all year round. You only want to use it during that specific period. Probably Christmas isn't a good idea. Let's say there's a form. You only want to use it for a specific period. Maybe it's signing up for a webinar, whatever it is. Well, you want to send it out. Now, you don't want to use it all the time. So you want to just deactivate that. Okay. So now you just deactivate it. It's not in there all the time. And if you want to bring it back, you can just activate it. So it's just kind of cleaning it up versus deleting it and, restore. It's just some terminology changes, really. Yeah.
And makes it just easier to manage, and you don't have a whole list of things that you're not using all the time, but you may want to use it occasionally.
Yeah.
Well
I'm just
done.
thinking about
Okay.
Christmas. Look at me. Jeez
That's
Louise.
right. All right. Next one, we have people menu enhancements. So we've just changed some things here. We're, the word create, we used to have, was a bit confusing to people. So now we just have changed that to add. And that just sort of makes it a little bit sort of more, kind of consistent. I think we also now refer to like primary practitioner, in that rather than what we had before, which was,
it's again just cleaning it up. Yeah, I think it was
exactly.
it was calendar because it was matching what the old terminology was. So they've just gone through and they've done some cleanup for consistency, and then just adding the word, adding add instead of create add just makes more sense, and it was more align more with what we were seeing that our customers were asking for. So just a little enhancements there.
Perfect. Next one, refined integration settings. Do you want to walk us through what we have there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did a couple things around, again, in settings. So one of them being like the API keys for PhysiTrack. We have moved it under the PhysiTrack integration settings. So this is to reduce any confusion and to place the keys in the context of their use. So again, just moving things around so you're not like, oh my God, what is this API key for? It's under PhysiTrack. That's an API key. Nice and clean. And then also we've reorganized credit card billing. So you go settings, integration, credit card billing, and this is to centralize the payment settings and just to streamline the whole user experience. So just cleaning things up, making it more user-friendly, easy to find it.
Yep. Now, next one is good for a lot of people. This is the email change. So now we've got a new Gmail integration, which means that, so this is put a bit of context around. If you're sending emails from PowerDiary, by default, we have an email server set up and we can send out emails from the system on your behalf, and that works. You don't have to do anything. You have to, this change doesn't change any of that. But we've always had the option where you can put in your own sort of email server. So let's say instead of using our default email server, you want to send it using your own email server. You've always been able to add in those details and send, excepting for Gmail, for instance.
Gmail.
That they made some changes, etc. But we now have sort of built this so that you can now use Gmail, and you can configure that so you can send via Gmail.
Wonderful. So it will come. So if it was like, xyzpractice@gmail.com, that email would look like it was coming from xyzpractice@gmail.com, and you sent it from PowerDiary.
Correct. Yeah. So it's using the server credentials for that, and it may also be that for businesses that have business accounts with Google, who uses Gmail's infrastructure, then you can add those details in, and it will work, right? So that you're not you can get the experience you want using your own email server. So that is enabled now. So that's good. Okay, next one we have. I'm going to let you talk about this.
Okay.
This is the practice billing information, and what we're doing. This is relating to US customers, which is why I'm handballing this one to you to talk about.
What? Am I in the States? Does my accent give it away? Okay. I wish I sounded cooler like you. No. Okay. So this is really exciting. So our US customers, they have associated with them these numbers called NPI numbers. It is specific to the provider. And before, we didn't really have a place that really captured that information by itself. Well, now on the business info page for US customers, you can add your NPI number, and you can add, and I'm going to apologize if I butcher this word, taxonomy code, which is a code specific to the provider as well, and to the area of practice that they're practicing. So they can now add that onto the business info page, and this will, set the stage from some things that we're doing for our US customers down the line. And this is really just so it's nice and clear. It's on that practitioner profile right there. It's also, the practitioner profile houses the NPI number and the taxonomy code. Excuse me for that. And on the business side, there are some other new fields as well. So this is to set that clear expectation and form that is for that practitioner right there on their practitioner profile. So again, settings, when you set up your practitioners, You put in their picture, you put in their address, all that information right there. There's 2 new fields, one for the business, or excuse me, for the NPI number. I'm just getting myself all screwed up today. And the other one for the taxonomy code. So it's right there,
Absolutely.
nice and easy. And it's really exciting. And I'm really excited that we are starting to capture that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you need any help with that, we've got US support team members. They're all over this, so just reach out and they will walk you through it. But it's good, and this is also sort of setting the stage as well for some other releases that we have, which we'll just sort of tease, but other releases where we have coming to assist with US insurance.
Absolutely. And I'll put a little, because I flubbed, I'll put a little visual aid on over that little section too to help you see it if you're watching, but really exciting stuff. And I'm excited to get that stuff on there.
Very good.
Excellent. This one's exciting for everyone. I'm excited about this. I know it's simple, but it's good.
Add-ons page. Yes, this is out there. I'm going to throw this one to you too, because I know you love this this redesign here.
I do. I think it really makes a big difference. So, if you went to our subscription page before, so if you go under settings and you see your subscription, you could see what you were paying, but it wasn't like nice. Now it's beautiful. You can see your pricing. You can see your optional add-ons. So you can go ahead and see if you've got your telehealth Plus toggled on. You could see your SMS billing. You could see if you're on, where you are in your 50% off trial. So it's just a very clear picture of where your account is standing. And I really like that. I think it just makes it a better user experience. You kind of know exactly what you're paying. You see that price for the text message, your SMS pricing. You see where you're standing with your Telehealth Plus, toggle that on or off. It's just a nice, clean page, and it really just gives a better, I think, for a business user experience for you and our customers, just to have a really nice clear picture of where they stand. So I think it's great. It also looks really nice, and I like things that look pretty. So
and I was telling you before we jumped on this, before we started recording, that I've actually seen screenshots now of that new page turning up in different places. So on discussion forums and things, when people are talking about practice management systems and comparing, I've actually seen people screenshotting this and showing what good value Power Diary is. So shameless plug there, but it is actually great to see people they're able to see it and say, look, this is actually, this is how affordable Power Diary is, and seeing that in the mix with the discussion where other people are saying, oh, I'm on this other system, I'm paying all this, and they're like, hey, here's my subscription page in Power Diary. So it's great to see that, that clarity, but also that it's, I think, easier for people to sort of see, I guess, how affordable it is. We work hard to try and to do that. So really cool to see. Okay, next one, we are into payment and notification enhancements. So we've got the Stripe linked profile field edition. So if you have, we have an integration with Stripe, which allows you to process credit cards online. If you have that enabled, so you have that, it takes about 5 minutes, by the way, to set up. If that, we've timed it at various times in the past. Very fast to set up and get Stripe integrated, so you can accept payments online by the client portal, or you can get invoices paid, a whole bunch of things you can do. But now what you can also do is you can add a credit card details form to your forms. So in other words, when you send out a new patient form, you can now, include some of the information you'd like to collect. So you might put in there that you want to collect their name and their address and their phone number and past medical conditions and so forth. But you can now also say, I want to collect credit card details. Now that information will then get securely stored via the Stripe integration in your Stripe account, right? And what's important about this is that this does it in a way that is compliant with all the global regulations in relation to the way that you collect and store credit card information, right? And one of the reasons that we did this is that sometimes people would do a custom form and they would just sort of ask for the credit card information in a normal form. They just say credit card number, expiry, and so forth, right? Now, while the form is secure, encrypted, the whole lot, and all the rest of it, because of the nature of the work that we do, it's still not considered to be compliant under the credit card processing obligations globally. So in other words, when people would do that, it's not good practice, and technically not compliant with these regulations. So what we, obviously we saw a need that people want to collect that information, and therefore we have built this now so that you can collect it in a compliant way. It also stores it directly in Stripe, so you don't need to then like rekey it or do anything like that. It's stored, done in a way that is compliant and easy to do. So why would you do this? Well, great. You collect credit card information at the start of the patient journey, perhaps, and that there you have it on file. You can use that for booking and for billing and so forth down the track. You can, there's lots and lots of sort of demand, for this. So it's now easy to do, and we're helping people do it in a way that is compliant.
Nice. Now they have, and we did say, you did say, and I just want to reiterate it, that users will need to have Stripe enabled for this option to be available. So I just wanted to, just kind of say it one more time, because, I don't want someone going, why don't I have this? Well, you got to have Stripe enabled, because this is connecting directly to Stripe to have that secure, that secure link. So just enable Stripe. Don't delay. Do it now.
And you don't pay any monthly fees or anything with Stripe. And so there's actually no harm in having Stripe set up. And then if you need to use it, even if you're just using it occasionally, you can have it set up.
Yeah.
And then when you need to, bang, you can use it. So it's worth doing.
Excellent.
Okay. Next thing is around notification feature for practitioners when a new appointment is booked. So let's imagine this. You've got a practitioner perhaps who works part-time. And they've got there's someone in the office who's taking calls, booking appointments, and so forth. So there is now a function where when, let's say, an admin person in the office receives a phone call and books an appointment, you can now configure your Power Diary account so that an alert or a message is sent directly to that practitioner advising them that that new appointment has been booked.
And that's automatically. Little automation. Automatic.
Exactly.
And you could choose email or an SMS, so they could get a text message, a new appointment's booked, or an email, and they're notified. Yep. Wonderful.
Yep. And you can turn this feature on or off. You do that in the practitioner's settings page. So, and there's different use cases. So in some practices, they don't want that on because there's, maybe a practitioner's getting 10 new bookings a day and they don't want that constant sort of alert going to the practitioner because that might get annoying. So you can turn it on and off. It's up to you. But we had a lot of user requests for this to say, hey, when we get a new appointment for a practitioner, we want them to be automatically notified. We don't want to. We used to have to click a button to send a notification. You could say alert the practitioner, but they said, look, we clicking that button all day. We don't want to do that. Can you give us an automatic way to do it? So live in the account.
Settings, practitioner. And then under practitioner settings, and you can set this up. And if somebody wants it, someone else doesn't, they can make the choice. And so it's up. I guess if you're part-time and you're not maybe booking in, that would make a lot of sense. But I think that's a really good feature. I think that's handy. I like the automation.
Yeah, exactly.
One less step I've got to do.
Precisely. That's exactly the feedback we get. They're like, this is unnecessary. We notify every time we make an appointment. That's annoying. Can't you make it automatic? And we're like, yes, actually we can. And here it is.
Done. Look at us listening.
Exactly. Next one. Default email templates for receipts. Okay. Do you want to walk us through how this, what this does and how it works?
Okay, give me just a second. Okay. So users can now set default. So you can set a default email template for receipts. So you can tailor the communication, make it really professional, and you can go ahead and it's by default going to go out. So this has been made live. Users can select a template that they use. They can go ahead and it will default when a receipt is sent. And that means they can have separate email templates for sending invoices, separate for sending receipts. And guess what? We've made a new template, I believe, and all new users within the account. So if you're new, you got a new trial account, after this had launched, it's already in there. We've got a template made for you. So you can go ahead and check that out. And this new setting is found under settings, configuration, invoices. So,
and look, the main driver behind this one, just for clarity, is that the content that you might want to say for an invoice, which is saying, hey, can you please pay this, versus a receipt, which might be, hey, thanks very much for paying.
Right.
Here is your receipt. The content is different. And we're used to, like, whether it's, even though it's the same sort of document being sent, which is essentially an invoice, which is either paid or not paid, right? If it's paid, it sort of becomes a receipt. If it's unpaid, it's kind of an invoice, right?
Yeah.
And so the language that you might use is obviously different, right?
Right.
And so when we originally had one template, and that made it difficult for people to kind of give the fully sort of, to nuance what they want to say, right? Because, you don't want to say thank you for payment, obviously, if it's not paid, if you're asking for payment. So that's what's behind it. It just allows, again, feedback from users to say, look, we want to make this, a little better. Can we have separate things? So now you can do it. The system detects whether it's paid or not. It works out which one to use based on how you have that configured.
Yep. And that template is already, so anybody who started a trial recently, that's already, I think, in the system for you. So you don't have to really.
Correct.
That's perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Next one, default template for notes and forms. So you've sort of got an ability now to select a default email template to use when sending like a note or a form off. So it just sort of simplifies the process, and you can kind of configure it to say, hey, this is when I'm sending a form or sending a something off, I want to, or a note off, I want to use.
Makes it consistent.
Makes it consistent, and you don't have to keep selecting it. Like otherwise people would have to select one, and it wasn't really well. Again, simplification, automation.
Yeah,
you can just set it and say that one's the one that's going to be used, and bang, it gets sent.
Wonderful.
There you go.
Whew, that was a lot. And there's I think what we said at the beginning, applies to almost all, there's a lot of little nuanced things that the team spent a lot of time working on, and they sound so little, or they, they're like, oh, that makes them, they're nuanced. So you have to really get into the nitty gritty to make sure that these things are working. And I think they released a lot, and I mean, it's amazing. That's really shows that everyone is listening and that your feedback's being heard. Trust us. We read all those Facebook comments, the good, the bad, the ugly, the good. Bring us on the good. We like the good. And we really do take those to heart. And the team really works to listen and make our customers happy, because we want you to have the best practice management experience. We want you to be more empowered. We want our practitioners to just love our software and really just feel so good at the end of the day that they've got the best thing out there. And I believe we do. And we are continually working to even make it better. So,
yep. And you can see, you can jump on to see the roadmap as well if you want to look at some of the bigger things that we've kind of working on. We're always working on lots of things, but some of the headline things are on there as well. And yeah, so it's just part of that process. I think that's about it, right?
That is it. That is it.
So
if you have any questions, head on over to don't forget to email our customer success team. If they have any questions, you could always head on over to leave some comments here. We love your feedback. Tell us if we're doing good, bad, ugly, whatever. We want to hear it all. And have a happy holidays. We'll come back in December. Let's do one more in December. We'll
do one more, for December. And
we'll do one more in December, and that will be the end of our year. And we'll go into the new year nice and fresh. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.